This is Minister Paul, a watchman on the wall in Northern California. Apologize for the background noise. I'll turn it down as low as I can. There was an attempted hack on my Google account while I was gone, in between making the video prior to this and making that one. I wasn't even here in my home, so I'm on hold with Google to try to get someone in person. It says it could be up to an hour. So I want to go to this breaking news coming out of Washington, D.C., as it is related to the attacks on the tankers in the Gulf of Oman, Strait of Hormuz area, and this is Secretary of Defense Pompeo.
Good afternoon. It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication. This is only the latest in a series of attacks instigated by the Islamic Republic of Iran and its surrogates against American and allied interests. And they should be understood in the context of 40 years of unprovoked aggression against freedom-loving nations. On April 22nd, Iran promised the world that it would interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. It is now working to execute on that promise. In early May, the Revolutionary Guard Corps attempted the covert deployment of modified dhows capable of launching missiles. On May 12th, Iran attacked 4 commercial ships near the Strait of Hormuz. On May 14th, Iran-backed surrogates attacked by armed drones struck 2 strategically important oil pipelines in Saudi Arabia. On May 19th, a rocket landed near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. On May 31st, the car bomb in Afghanistan wounded 4 U.S. service members, killed 4 Afghan civilians, and wounded bystanders. Yesterday, Iranian surrogates fired a missile into Saudi Arabia, striking the arrivals terminal of an international airport, injuring 26 people. Taken as a whole, these unprovoked attacks present a clear threat to international peace and security, a blatant assault on the freedom of navigation, and an unacceptable campaign of escalating tension by Iran. Prime Minister Abe made a historic trip to Iran to ask the regime to de-escalate and enter into talks. Iran's supreme leader rejected Prime Minister Abe's diplomacy today by saying he has no response to President Trump and will not answer. The supreme leader's government then insulted Japan by attacking a Japanese oil tanker just outside of Iranian waters, threatening the lives of the entire crew, creating a maritime emergency. Iran's foreign minister today responded to these attacks. He said sardonically, quote, "Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning," end of quote. Foreign Minister Zarif may think this is funny, but no one else in the world does. Iran is lashing out because the regime wants our successful maximum pressure campaign lifted. No economic sanctions entitle the Islamic Republic to attack innocent civilians, disrupt global oil markets, and engage in nuclear blackmail. The international community condemns Iran's assault on the freedom of navigation and the targeting of innocent civilians. Today I've instructed our UN Ambassador Jonathan Cohen to raise Iran's attacks in the UN Security Council meeting later this afternoon. Our policy remains an economic and diplomatic effort to bring Iran back to the negotiating table at the right time, to encourage a comprehensive deal that addresses the broad range of threats. Threats today apparent for all the world to see, to peace and security. Iran should meet diplomacy with diplomacy, not with terror, bloodshed, and extortion. The United States will defend its interests and stand with our partners and allies to safeguard global commerce and regional stability. We call upon all nations threatened by Iran's provocative acts to join us in that endeavor.
No questions taken. So let me show you, that looks pretty serious. Let me show you what I know, what I found out. So this is a picture of, I'm so sorry about this music in the background, this elevator music. I'd hold with Google because I have to make some account changes for security purposes. So what I found out is that they have found that these explosions were caused by what's called a limpet mine, Limpet, a naval mine. And here's a picture of them. So they're put on and they're held in place by strong magnets. So these naval mines had to be, so these are blowing up. And Iran has been known to do this before with these exact mines. That's kind of what he was referencing in the past. And you have to manually attach these to the hull of the ship, I would think. And then you can time them out to go off within a certain period of time. So these two oil tankers had passed through the Strait of Hormuz into the Gulf of Oman. Were exiting out of the Strait of Hormuz and entering into the Gulf of Oman when these explosions went off, and they were caused by these mines. That's what I'm reading right now, and one of them did not blow up, and it's been recovered. Could everybody see that? Picture of some of them here. So that's what they look like, and that's what they're claiming. What I've also found out is, and I'll put a link to this article, is that there may have been some military forces from at least one country on one of these tankers. And so we have officially, here's the thing. We got 50% of people believing this is a false flag, and 50% of other people, believing that this really was Iran. But here's the thing. We have naval ships, U.S. Navy ships responded in the area, and we took on some of the prisoners, not prisoners, the victims in the water, so to speak. But then Iran has also picked up a few dozen that I know of these people that they put in the water, according to the United States of America. And so we don't know what, if they're going to keep them safe. So here we are accusing them while they have people in custody that were on these ships. So we should be a prayer over these people who are in custody, because they're rescued from the water, understand? But people have perished. I mean, this is an act of war. And so whether I come on here and say it's a false flag, or whether I come on here and say Iran is behind this, is irrelevant to the response that we're all going to have to live with. So if the U.S. decides to respond in a military fashion and is asking others to support them, this will lead to world war right in the area that the Bible talks about. Now, he mentioned peace and security many times. So for those who don't know the Bible, let me show you the scripture that ties this into us being in the last days. When they say peace and security, I think he said that at least 3 times. It says, then sudden destruction comes. When they shall say peace and security. So we've just heard the Secretary of Defense say that 3 times. It says, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Like it would happen in birth pangs. So this thing's been hitting, and now it's full blown. There has to be some type of response to an act like this. And so it just remains to see what that act is. Since I served in the military, in the Navy particularly, I'm well aware that we could already be responding, and it won't hit the news. The only people would know it would be the people on the ships and the people in the area. And then we get the news like tonight that we've struck something or other, we've struck a base or something, but it tends to already happen before it's reported on the media. That's my experience. Oh, still nobody on Google. I got to fix this account. So here's a couple other quick things. I mean, I'm kind of distracted by the security issue, and I do apologize, but it really is bad timing. So the Kremlin So this is what happened. Donald Trump and the United States of America has moved 1,000 troops and drones to Poland. 1,000 more troops, 1,000 additional troops, and these military drones into Poland. He sent them over from Germany to defend our interest in that area. That's really weird. And my ceiling fan is rattling like the house is shaking. Now that's bizarre. Not good. So this is happening, and Russia has promised retaliation. In fact, the direct quote said that they would make Poland a target in the event of a conflict. So we have this brewing, Russia, USA, and this is all tied to Bible prophecy. That's why I mention these areas. And then we have this going on right now. Thank you, Sister Yvette, for sending me this link. I have many prophecies called red flag alert, and they're talking about war. So this is also just kicked off in Alaska, this military drill. And the reason why I mentioned Alaska is because my wife had a dream about in Alaska and a plane being shot down by a missile. And it said Alaskan Airlines on it, representing Alaska. So that we just republished that just a few days ago. So this is all hitting at once. And so this is the information I've obtained. This drill is going to run through June 22nd, which also ties in with another date I just read about on something like this. So this is just a quick. This is called Red Flag Alaska. And it's a Pacific Air Force's directed exercise that will allow U.S. forces to train with coalition partners in a simulated combat environment. It's underway at Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson through June 22nd. So while this international coalition red flag drill is running, we have Secretary of Defense Pompeo coming on and giving us this warning. And we have troops going to Poland. There's so much going on right now, and I just want to show you how it ties into the scriptures so people know, because not everybody knows the scriptures. I will keep up on this. I think what I'm going to have to do for now as a security precaution is separate the account again back to Minister Paul only, because I had to change my password and do a whole bunch of things they recommend. It was just an out of nowhere attack on my account through Google, and it says they know the password, so I've changed the password and a few other security measures, and so now Pastor Larry won't be able to log in. So my next step is to call him, and then I will direct. I would highly recommend people be listening to his prayer and service videos in these last days for strength, because he just preaches directly out of the Bible. We'll have to re-separate the accounts for a time due to this security issue. And that's what they're recommending. So Pastor Larry will still be on his channel. I'll like his videos, and then I will still be on my channel, but we will be separated. The issue now is whether they're going to let me change the name back to Minister Paul or not, and that's in their hands. So a lot of things happening. We are in prayer. Please be in prayer for us that all this would turn out to the good. You know, we are not always in control of everything, but we serve the one who is. That's God. And he loves us very, very much to give us these warnings in advance. For all I know, the war could be starting right now, and it sounds like it's going to be some type of joint coalition war to start. And some people in this world and some countries have nothing to lose. And so this could get very, very ugly, very, very quick. We shall see. Be ready for anything. Be prepared. God bless you.